So overcoming the overwhelm, Haley, like it's daunting to even think about some of these life changes, and people just get stuck, and they get stuck and they don't do anything because they're stuck. And so I think I'll leave it. I'll let you go and talk about overcoming the overwhelm. Thanks, Haley.
Thank you so much, Scott. Let me just get our slideshow running here. There we go. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I know I'm a bit of a strange flavor to add into a realty and life planning specific event, but the emotional piece and the emotional aspects, they're such a big part of it. Just like we sometimes stay in relationships for financial reasons, we often don't make our moves because of overwhelm or anxiety reasons. So my sole mission tonight is to leave you a little better than I met you, meaning give you a little bit more confidence that that exciting move that's coming up for you, that you have all the tools you need within you to go through this gracefully and be glad that you did. So our talk is called Overcoming Overwhelm. Really quickly, just a tiny bit about me. This is my husband, my 3 boys. I have moved 8 times in 7 years. I've lived in multiple countries. I used to run a marketing firm in London, England, and I am now a proud Oakvillian who dreams about living in a tiny house on the water in the forest, and we're waiting for our kids to give us permission to do that. Here's some of the books that I've put out. Sometimes they're on health and written with doctors, other times they're about empowerment. And the book I did recently is to help couples who are struggling to fall in love with each other all over again. If you are moving to fix your relationship, please don't think that a new home will make everything better. Home isn't about your postal code or whether you take from Scott's top 7 list or Angela's list. Home is what you make inside the place you choose to be with the people that you care about. That might be you on your own, you and your fur babies, you and your partner, you and a new partner, you and some kids, kids that haven't launched, kids that have launched and divorced and come back again. So home is really what you make inside of the place that you choose next. I'm going to give you just a quick gloss over of some of the happiness tools that I teach, and we're going to go into a couple of them in more depth tonight so that you can start using these tools right away to handle this big life event, this big decision that maybe has been bumbling around in your mind or in your conversations for quite some time. And if you're getting ready to take that step, these things will support you. I teach a concept called make you or break you. This is around deciding whether this hard event is here for you or here against you. I teach a concept that we're going to do tonight called the 4 C's of change, the 5 questions of shift, which we're also going to cover tonight. And we won't get to do a lot, but I might touch on the ideal method for happiness in your life, which gives you some structure to help you get organized for this next move and this next life change, as well as the PTSD formula for happiness. So let's get right into something that you can use. If you are taking notes, my friends, I'd write this one down. The 4 C's of change are commitment, followed by courage, followed by capability, followed by confidence. Let me explain. Surely there was a time in your life when you made a commitment and you were a bit terrified. It might have been your first move, your first property purchase, the first time you asked someone to marry you or said yes to a marriage proposal, whether you decided to have or not to have children. You've made a lot of commitments in your life, and your right sizing move is going to be another one of those big commitments. When we make a commitment, it's natural to feel a blend of excitement and terror because change can be both wonderful and frightening because you're not able to know all of what's on the other side. Once you've made a commitment, though, the next thing you need is you need to act with courage. You have to follow through. This is part of why there's a 10-day clause to back out of a deal, not a 365-day clause to back out of a deal, because your courage is going to come on quickly. Like Mel Robbins says, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. We put our brave pants on, and here's what happens next. You suddenly see yourself as far more capable than you thought you were. The moment you've made a commitment and followed through with courage, which this next move will require, you realize it's never as bad as you thought it would be. It's often far better and far easier than you thought it would be. And often there are surprises, gifts that show up in your life that you weren't even expecting. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's almost always not as bad as you thought it was. And then you can look to yourself with a bit more confidence and say, I didn't realize I had it in me to pack up a house in 3 weeks. I didn't realize I had it in me to go to a brand new city and make new friends, but you do. And when you run through those first 3 C's, you arrive at more confidence. This directly raises your self-esteem, trust in yourself, and something beautiful happens. You now see yourself as someone who can make more commitments. It'll take less and less courage every time to follow through. You get to see yourself as more and more capable every time, and your confidence continues to rise. So those, my friends, are the 4 C's of change, and they really just keep going around and around. The next thing we get to are the 5 most important questions that you can use if you aren't working with a coach or counselor like myself. These are the questions you can use to actually coach yourself. So you might be right now very excited about this right sizing move, or you might be feeling a lot of anxiety, a lot of trepidation about it. So the first question is, how is your living situation for you at the moment? And I mean all of the details. What's it like to maintain this home? What are the financial realities? What are the community realities? Scott did an amazing job showing us all of the factors, the transactional ones, but the softer factors that make up living in a home that you love. Question 2, how would you rather it be? If you could fast forward in your life and get into your right-sized next home, how would you rather your living situation be? Just to Scott's presentation, really envision it going into that detail of what could you picture as the next level of quality of life enjoyment in your future home and surroundings. What can be done about it? And I'm going to reference a lot of my fellow panelists' presentations here. Scott, I love the fact that you and your wife do vision boards. I respect you even more now.
Yeah, we help other people do them too.
I
Yeah.
love it. I've been teaching vision board classes for 22 years before it got popular, and I'm just so excited that you do that. So, my friends, when you are coaching yourself through overwhelm, you're in a state, which is question number 1. There's a state you want to get to, which is question number 2. Question number 3 is asking you to put on your inquiry cap and ask, from what you know, what can be done about it? Well, the obvious is you could talk to a professional real estate agent. You could do weekend drives, 1 town per weekend, and explore communities. You could put a post on social media and ask your demographic and say, who's got a city they've moved to and love it and why? Who's got a city they've moved to and highly don't recommend it? There's a lot of things you can do. But out of all those options, it matters only what are you willing to do about it. There might be some of those options that you're not comfortable with. And the only thing that really matters is what will you do about it in the next 24 hours? Will you send an email to Scott or Angela or one of our panelists? Will you put a post out to all your friends who have moved to different cities and poll them and see why they love them and whether they could be a fit for you? So what will you do about it in the next 24 hours? And the part in brackets I'll explain. Who will you be about it? Your beingness describes your personality or your MO, your modus operandus. Making any real estate transaction requires a few states of being that could support you. That might be committed, brave, vulnerable, open, action-oriented, goal-oriented. It's not enough to just set an action for yourself every day. Without a way of being to support you, it's harder. And because I do marriage counseling as well, this little tip is very helpful in your relationship. Every night, my friends, when you go to bed, about your right size move, choose one action for tomorrow in support of that goal and one way of being. If you are in a couple though, whether you're married or not, also when you go to bed, what's one action you can choose in support of bettering your relationship? And what is one way of being that you could take on that's in support of that? And this works magically around your health and your fitness and your finances and really anything. There are 12 main areas that affect your personal happiness and that can put you in a state of overwhelm and anxiety. Of course, tonight we're focusing on your home life and your home location. And I just wanted to share quickly what the difference is. Your home location is what Scott and Angela have been talking about, helping you find a place where you love the space you're in. Your home life is what you do to fill inside those walls and the connections that you make with people there. And both are so important. Any of the tips that we're going over are equally beneficial for all these areas. But of course, tonight we're focusing on real estate. Now, if you have been on the fence about making your right size move for a long time, and it's time to get into action, then I encourage you to write this mantra down. I promise when I wake up tomorrow to do the things and to be the ways that make my life better. You can change the end of the sentence to make it more appropriate for your situation. I promise when I wake up tomorrow to do the things and be the ways that get me into my right size home by, pick a date for yourself. Anytime you work in support of what it is that you say you want, things are going to open up for you. On the topic of overwhelm, part of where overwhelm comes from is you're imagining all of the many, many steps necessary to complete this project. That includes preparing your house for sale, figuring out where you want to be, seeing if your financial ducks line up, making that move, getting to the new place, moving in, finding a new dentist, a new hairdresser. Your mind can't help but picture all of it in one go, and that's overwhelming. Instead, choose the small bits. What's that one thing you could do tomorrow to help your situation? Please remember that tiny tweaks done daily over time lead to massive results. In fact, if we could equate a tiny tweak, something small you do tomorrow to help you with making your right size move, imagine that's like a 1% growth for your goal every day. If we push that out over a year, my friends, that is a 365% growth on your life trajectory. So if you notice yourself to often be in a state of overwhelm, consider just coming down from the big project and taking it into its smaller parts. Real quick, I'm going to share a couple things you can do to optimize your situation around moving and around the overwhelm that can go with it. So please don't focus on winning the whole project. If you're someone that keeps a to-do list or project lists or a move binder, you're not meant to complete all the steps today or tomorrow or even next week or next month. Worry just about today's portion of it. If you give your word to get something done for your real estate transaction tomorrow, don't give your word unless you've checked your schedule and you actually have time to follow through on that action. And if you've given your word and something emergency has not gotten in the way, just follow through and win today's portion. My wish for each of you, especially those of you that might be dealing with some anxiousness or anxiety or overwhelm about your situation, want you to go to bed every night feeling proud of your day. It's not about winning the project, it's about winning the day, and you need to sever the day from all the future steps of the project, just for today. And if you've had an unproductive day, if you needed a personal wellness day or a mental health day, and you feel like you're behind on what you wanted to accomplish for this big decision in your life, well, forget winning the day and focus on winning the week. Did you know that we have 168 hours in the week? And that week is much more forgiving than our 24-hour days. Whatever you couldn't do today, take a look forward into this week or next week, and rather than add it to a list, actually schedule it as an appointment. Give it the right amount of time and be generous with how much time you allocate. And this next part goes without saying. You're making a massive financial and quality of life and everyday reality decision when you choose where to plant your flag for your next home. This is a big decision. And so you're going to want to take great care of yourself in the process. You're not expected to purge, pack, paint, declutter, stage, and research all of your waking hours. You still need to make time for your self-care, take care of your body physically and emotionally. Prioritize your happiness and plan at least one thing, even if it's little, every day for your joy, something that lights you up. Of course, block time for your work or your passion projects. And here's a big one, allocate some white space or flex time into your schedule. I know that sounds easier said than done, but stuff's going to come up and you want to have some buffer space in your schedule. See if There is time for all of your other mundane chores and responsibilities. And my friends, you do not need permission from me or anyone else. Your permission button lives inside of you. But in case you'd like permission, I officially bestow upon you permission to hire out for help, delegate out for help. Heck, delete some things as priorities like having all the laundry done or all the dishes done, and ask for help. You deserve it. And really, there's only so much that we can each do in a day. So I love the concept of off plating. And especially if you are dealing with overwhelm right now, consider all that's on your plate. Consider everything you've said yes to and check in with yourself. Does it really fit in your 24-hour day or your 168-hour week while you're trying to purge, unclutter, stage, prep, sell, move? Does it really? And if it doesn't, maybe this is a time to allow yourself some professional help or some free delegations or a little bit of easing up on the standards so that you can have time to breathe. And finally, take time to grieve what you'll miss. We don't realize that moving is a very emotional process. There's things you've loved about the home you're in, the neighbors you've had. Well, hopefully there's things you've loved about it and the neighbors you've had. Hopefully there are some connections and local restaurants or favorite trails in the place you're leaving. So it's natural to be a little bit sad to leave something behind that you have cherished or at least enjoyed parts of. So take some time to grieve what you'll miss. But better than that, get excited over what you're going to gain in your new community. Scott, I would happily move to any one of the 7 cities you put on your top 7. In fact, I snapped a picture of all of them, and each of them offer lots of fun things: active living, great community, arts, culture, proximity to the water, beautiful sunsets, snow. You know, I'll bet you that most of us on the line right now don't have access to ski, swim, beach, and sunset in our backyard the way some of Scott and Angela's picks would have for us. And remember, my friends, remember what is your why for making this right size move. We all have different motivations when we make a change, but we don't make change unless we're motivated by something. So focus on your motivation sandwich. Think of the top bun is all the good that's going to come of this. You know, if you move to one of Scott or Angela's cities that they profiled for you, what are all the new activities you're going to get to do that you didn't get to do now? Maybe you're moving somewhere half the price and you're going to need to either work less hours or drain your retirement disposable income half as much to enjoy more space, more land, more view. So what are all the benefits that you're going to get by making your right size move? And then let's talk about the bottom bun of your motivation sandwich. The bottom bun is everything you're going to get to leave behind, like good riddance. What is the stress, the pain, the burden you're leaving behind? Maybe you went through a divorce in this house. Maybe you experienced the loss of someone's life. Maybe the financial burdens robbed you of your quality of life and you went through some tough times. There are going to be things you'll be glad to leave behind in this right sizing move. And in the middle of your motivation sandwich, this is the good stuff. This is your why to keep you on track, to keep you focused. So while we can't control what's already happened, like you've been sitting on the fence for maybe a couple years, making this right size move, or you have a few too many 100 boxes than you wish you did for staging your house, which Scott's going to talk to you about. We can't control what's already happened, but my goodness, we sure do get a say in what we do next about it. And I have complete faith in all of you to make great decisions for your future, to have the daily follow through, to choose actions that support you in making a right size move in the right amount of time for you. And you've got lots of professionals on the panel here to guide you with the parts that you don't know how to do expertly. We have you supported. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this tonight. Life coaches and counselors and consultants, we don't often get to be part of real estate events. And I really want to acknowledge Scott and Heather for reaching out to me, and their acknowledgement, their empathy, the amount of humanity they have for you to realize this is not just a financial transaction. Moving yourself or your family or you and your partner to a brand new community is a big emotional change, and I'm here to support you through that. I just launched a brand new website this week, and I have 3 free gifts for you for spending a little time with me tonight. Real quick, I'll share what they are. If you're anxious right now, I have a free 30-minute video for you that will take you through a process you can do before bed. You're welcome to use it tonight. It will help you to calm your anxiety, bring your blood pressure down, turn off the busy hamster wheel in your mind, and allow you to access better sleep without those stress or anxiety thoughts. It'll also have you waking up a little bit more prepared to do what you can do to help you get to this next exciting part of your life. The second free gift I have for you is if you are in a relationship or if there's someone in your life that you care about who is in a relationship. I would love to give you any chapter from my new book for free. You can go onto the website yourhappylove.com and you can just text me whichever chapter would help you the most right now, and I'll send it right over to you at no cost. And my third and final gift to show my appreciation and also offer you some support is to give you 30 minutes of my time absolutely for free. It's not a sales meeting. It's not a strategy session. It's a real and true coaching session to help you get unstuck, more confident, and feel more relaxed about whatever it is that is causing you overwhelm in your life right now. Now, it may very well be your right sizing move, or it could be your marriage, or it could be your teenagers. Just know that I'm here for you. And if there's anything I can do to help lower your anxiety, your overwhelm, or make your life better, my final message to you is that I'm here for you. And on my timer, Scott, we're right on time. Back to you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Hailey. And I think it was awesome to hear your thoughts on that, and finding your why. Finding out why why you're doing why you want to do what you want to do, and finding out what's important to you so that you can make those changes. That's awesome.
Yeah, and even though I'm not at 55, I am in my 40s. My husband and I are so passionate. We're sort of obsessed with our right size move. And we've looked at communities because 2 out of our 3 kids struggle with mental health challenges. One was recovering from a traumatic brain injury. And our 3 boys, they are lovely little souls when they're out in nature by the water. Not so much so when they have to stay indoors in school all day and be quiet and not make a lot of movement. So our kids thrive more when we're in nature, and they thrive more when they have more of our time and we're not working till 6, picking them up at aftercare. So we look at our right size move is having a outright owned, 0 debt, stop the workday earlier, make more memories with our family, and be in nature because it's so grounding and healing. We're kind of hardwired for fun. So that's part of our motivation sandwich.
Yeah, awesome.